Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome to my weekly strategic swing trader videos. This is Sami Abusaad. I am Director of Education here at T3 Live. I hope you're doing well, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get started. In this video, we're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about the cryptocurrency market as well, and I'm going to share with you my top swing ideas for next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I do that, real quick, gotta show you this standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. So looking at the daily chart of the Nasdaq 100, this is the ETF actually, the tracking ETF for the Nasdaq 100, or the SPY, doesn't matter, they're both just about the same. The S&P 500 actually made new all-time highs, and the next day, that was on Thursday, the next day, yesterday, Friday, we pulled in a lot more, even more bullish than I expected. But as you can see, the monthly is in a perfect uptrend so far. The weekly has been also in a nice uptrend with a 1, 2, 3, poked its head just above the prior highs. And now, what do we do for next? What do we expect for next week? For next week, I would expect to see a pullback, but you gotta watch that 20 MA on the hourly chart. That should be your clue. It was also our clue last week when it held price. It halted price from dropping, and that's when we expected the pop. You could also see it on the Q's daily chart. We talked about in last week's video how when prices go sideways rather than pulling back, that's more bullish. And you can see how price was actually initially crisscrossing the 20, and notice how the 20 started to point up on the hourly chart and halted it from continuing lower. The next day we gapped up and didn't really look back. So really bullish, but I would expect a pullback, but you just gotta watch that hourly 20 MA. We need to break it before you can expect a pullback. Got it? So that's the bias for next week for me, is I'm expecting a pullback, but I'm also gonna watch the hourly 20 MA. As for some of the swing ideas for next week, here's what I got for you. AVTR is a relatively new symbol. It's about a month old or so. Broke out and then has another breakout. So that's not bad. Looks okay as a long. This list is sorted alphabetically. Okay. And for next week, I think I'm playing for Monday. I'm playing four plays. CNDT is a transition A on the daily chart. So breakout on the daily and the hourly chart. See it? Stop would be right here on the CNDT. Next is Disney. Disney is actually not a bad long-term trade because it broke out over the long-term base on the monthly chart. You can see it broke out over a 3-4 year base. So that should have a lot more momentum. Now triggered a 1, 2, 3 on the monthly. So this is more of a long-term trade than a short-term trade, but looks good even as a swing. So over the daily highs, stop under. Okay, a GT is a transition A on the daily chart. Notice how price is always under the 20 when it's in a downtrend, and when it starts to wanna go higher, moving average goes sideways, starts to curl up, and then that's how you know it's about to go higher. This is, remember I showed you on the hourly chart of the Qs, starts to curl, and then it causes that breakout. So the same here. This would be a long over the base, stop under it. JWN is the same thing, is a transition A. Notice on the GT, slightly better because you can see the moving average is already pointing up. JWN just starting to flatten out. So, but it's the same idea, same type of trade, but this one is already underway. MAXR is even better. Over the base, stop under it. Very nice weekly buy setup on the MAXR. Here's the weekly chart. That's a gorgeous transition A buy setup. Having said that, the truth is most transition A plays fail, meaning they pop a little bit and then they come back down. That doesn't mean you can't make money on them. When I say they pop a little bit, it could be a 50% move or a 30% move before they come back down, because the trend is usually, the trend is when you have a downtrend, it lasts for a long time usually. Now this stock has been in a long-term downtrend, don't get me wrong, so it's been in a downtrend since 2015, so it could have a nice bounce, but just be mindful that 880 is target 1 for me on the MAXR. If you're in the strategic swing trader, log into your account right now. You'll see all the plays that I'm going to be taking personally on Monday. Just log into your T3 Live account. But that's target 1, 880. PCRX is a transition A on the daily chart, transition A on the monthly. So it looks good all around as a long-term play. PCRX is a top watch for Monday as a long-term trade. PTCT has a monthly buy setup underway. This has been hard to catch it on the right entry, but looks higher still. PTCT. And then RYAM is like the JWN and the GT, except it hasn't yet really curled. It's just starting. Okay, STMP, another transition A, already in it, but I'm looking to add to the position if it breaks out over the base. So STMP looks higher. It's a very weak stock at the moment, but if it can just break out, it should be nice. So those are some bullish ideas. Here's some bearish ones in case the market pulls back. ABR, sell setup. Be under the red bar, stop above it. CCL 123. This was a nice trade for us in the room. I called it on Thursday. Nice gap down. So 123 if it can break under 46. Okay. Home and RMTI are daily breakdowns. So short under the base, stop above it. And then RMTI the same. RMTI is not perhaps as good because this was actually a secondary offering, not a real professional gap like Home. Does that make sense? But they're both the same setup, and VNDA is the same as ABR, is a daily sell setup right off the declining 20. See it? So those are some ideas. If you like today's video, be sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out to T3 Live. I want to say have a great rest of the weekend. Actually, I forgot to talk about the cryptocurrency market. So let me show you. This is Bitcoin. I did think it was late to get in the Bitcoin, but it still rallied anyway. I talked about it last week when it was about 9,500 maybe, and I thought it was a little late. Bam, another 1,500 bucks. And you know what? It's still basing at the top. Now, it's got the spike in volume. It's got a small topping tail. If we break under the bottom, the narrow range bar that's forming, so this will finish forming around 8 o'clock East Coast time. If it breaks under it, then that will signal the pullback. But this was a really nice move up. I'm in the Ripple, as you know. I had 50,000 shares, $20,000 worth of Ripple, so 50,000 shares. It popped when I did the video. It was at 39 cents last week, and I told you this is a really good long-term idea. It popped about 15%, I think, or so. Took half. I was actually teaching in the after hours, after the market closed when it popped. Took half, reloaded. Here's my, I think I have it open, my Coinbase account. So and then I reloaded. So now I have 32,000 shares, basically 32,500 of Ripple. So we'll see. I did do a lot of trading this weekend, cryptocurrency trades, because Bitcoin went crazy. So where do I go to show you? It should be under orders. So let me just see here. Bitcoin. I made some good money on Bitcoin this weekend. So you see this? Sold it at 10,600, 10,900, 10,900. Yeah, and then quite a few buy orders also. The major buying was done at 9,500, 99.50. I mean 99.50. So that's when I really bought it. See this? So this was this weekend, 2 days ago, just on Saturday, maybe Friday also. So made some good money on Bitcoin, but I'm not holding Bitcoin as a long-term trade. I'm not holding Bitcoin as a long-term trade because I think it's too late to get in it right now. I'm holding Ripple as a long-term trade. And Bitcoin, I just watch it on multiple time frames for breakouts, pullbacks, right? And I don't look at it on just one time frame. I look at it on multiple. So I put it on multiple time frames and watch it that way. So does that make sense? All right, but I'm sticking with Ripple. Hopefully it gives us a 1, 2, 3. The only thing about Ripple that I don't like is obviously Bitcoin is everything, so it's going to be affected by the price of Bitcoin. That's the only issue. Okay, but like it as a long term. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to do one other video momentarily about some long term core watches that I am personally watching, and one of them I'm playing on Monday, so stick around. I'm going to do it right now. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you in a few minutes hopefully. Take care.